It's been one of the best quarters in Cal Poly athletics in recent memory and maybe even ever, with a title in both volleyball, women's soccer, cross country, regular season title, men's soccer. It's all kind of coming together, and luckily we were on the front lines to witness it. Matthew Muren here with Jonathan Z and Dylan Allen to talk about fall quarter here at Cal Poly, and what a great quarter it has been.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to, we're kind of going to be breaking down all things Cal Poly fall quarter. It's been, as you said, a fantastic quarter. I guess myself, I've been covering a lot of the sports here. I've been announcing for volleyball, some women's soccer, some men's soccer, but then covering the teams, both written and video. So I've seen kind of volleyball's progression from when they beat Utah, who was a ranked team back in September, and then now they just beat BYU. They beat USC in the tournament. It's been a fun ride watching them, but yeah, we're gonna be breaking down kind of all things about this fall quarter.
Yeah, everything's come a basis for Cal Poly recently. Even in football now with the new hire, Tim Skipper from UCLA, that'll be very exciting to see in the next couple of years how that shapes out. But just as you mentioned, volleyball, soccer, cross country, they're all getting it done right now.
Yeah, and I mean, we have all been lucky enough to have been here for 4 years now and been able to cover different sports. Between us, I think we've covered maybe nearly every sport here at Cal Poly.
I think we might have. Did any of us do tennis?
I did tennis.
You did tennis? Okay, then I think we have everything. Yeah. Right?
But all of us here, ESPN Plus broadcasters, play-by-play color, and then I was lucky enough to cover men's soccer for the last 2 years in both of their regular season title seasons, as well as wrestling. Now, Dylan and I traveled up to Oregon last year, and speaking of wrestling, just had a great showing out at Cliff Keen as well. But
yeah, there's just so much going on right now. I mean, it's like all sports right now are kind of in the swing of it, and there's just a lot going on for Cal Poly. We got a lot of pros that are making some headlines. Elijah Ponder out with the Patriots, recording a few sacks. Got one on Baker Mayfield. But let's kind of get into it with volleyball.
I mean, what more can we talk about with volleyball? I mean, the fact now in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament, going up against Kentucky, a very tough team, but having taken down USC, it seems like anything is possible for this team.
Yep, keep on dancing is kind of their motto that I've seen on social media and within the team. But, took out the last perfect bracket in the volleyball challenge, which is always, kind of fun, prove the doubters wrong. And yeah, I mean, Kentucky's a tough team, but if you take out USC at home in Southern California, sky's the limit.
I mean, the win, let's start with the win against BYU. They matched up with BYU. That was Friday night, and it was a 3-2 win. They lost the first set, and then it came back and they won the first set, came back and lost the next two, and then won the fourth and fifth set. So, I mean, the standout players from that match, the opening round of the NCAA tournament, Kendall Bashir.
Absolutely, 100%.
20 kills. I mean, she's been so good for this team all season long, and like she really showed up on the biggest stage in volleyball, in volleyball.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the kills themselves. It was also in both of the last fifth sets, in both the BYU match and then the USC match, she came in to serve, and it was a tie game at 2-3, 3-3, and then when she leaves, it's 12-3. Like, she had absolutely unreal runs behind the service line, and that is based off of her really amazing jump serve, which has gotten her the team lead in service aces. But to get that dialed in, to get it going in the most important moments, I was really, really impressed by that from Bashir.
Yeah, and Emmy Bullis as a setter put up 50 assists, I believe, against BYU, and I think against USC, she got up there. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but I mean, she's really been a key to this offense. A big reason why they're at where they are right now.
And I think she's up to second all time in Cal Poly assists.
Yes. She jumped fourth and third against BYU, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
With her 50 assists.
Yeah, they were all in there around, I think, 4,200 around that mark.
To go back to your point, Matt, they would have lost that game if not for Kendall's serves. I mean, they won the first two sets. They were up 2-0 on USC, who was the number 4 seed in the country, the host of the of those first two rounds, and it's 2-0. They dropped the next two sets, so it's 2-2 heading into that fifth set. And then Kendall, I mean, I'm pretty sure they were down 3-0 in that fifth set, and then Kendall gets the service line. She records 2 service aces, and they took off from there. I mean, that really sparked like it. As you said, I think it was like 12-3 when she left the service line. If she didn't have that, they probably would have lost that first set. I mean, it's like that was do or die, and Kendall came through.
Yeah, it definitely would have been swimming the upstream battle there. 12-4 run to close it out after being tied 3-3. Just a incredible performance.
And it's not just the aces that are super important from her, because like her serve gets teams back out of system, puts them really, really in uncomfortable places. And so if whether or not it's a serve that, catches a line or just puts someone diving on the floor, it's useful, and then Cal Poly can get back on the attack, because you really just, the main thing about volleyball, you just need to get past that first attack, that first return from and USC had a lot of great returns, and that was what was Cal Poly's issue in that third and fourth set when they were going down and struggling to find points.
Yeah, I mean, Emma Frederick also came up huge in the USC match. She had 17 kills. She was electric. Their hitting percentages were really, really strong. Their blocking was amazing. Charlotte Kelly, the freshman, she's been fantastic for them all season long. And like I know Caroline said this, head coach Caroline Walters said this after the game, but she was kind of like the unsung hero at the middle blocker position. She's just been fantastic. It's really like production-wise, this team just has so many people that can get it done. And they're really, like right now, they're hitting really, really efficiently. And I mean, they're now so they're going to travel to Kentucky and play them on Friday. That'll be televised nationally on ESPN. Kentucky's on a 24-match win streak. They're 27-2, and they've only lost to the number 1 team in the nation, and then they lost to UPenn, University
It
of
was
Penn.
Pittsburgh, I think.
Was it Pitt?
I think it was Pitt.
Was it UPitt?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I know Pitt was ranked 7 at the time, and then obviously Nebraska's undefeated all year. So
Yeah.
Some ridiculous teams, but again, this Cal Poly squad has found a way to win, and it hasn't always been pretty. I mean, there are a lot of pretty plays, especially when they're in system, but they've found a way to get that fifth set rolling and get a win. And also, I want to make sure we don't forget Chloe Lelouch, who is the spearhead of that really, really efficient offense, because I mean, leading the Big West in hitting percentage and setting a program record in hitting percentage this year, she was just amazing. So want to give her props as well. I think she won Big West MVP in
the tournament
win. Yeah,
She did. They finally got over. I mean, there was kind of like a hump they were trying to get over, with the tournament only started in 2023, but then they had those 2 losses to Hawaii.
Yeah, just being able to turn the corner, I think, is really, it's kind of like the glass ceiling, right? Once you break the glass ceiling, like there's just a certain, like, I don't know, like a ceiling, like, I mean, like the sky's the limit again, right? As I said, like when you break that glass ceiling, you can do things that you didn't think you could possibly do before, and you can do them. And then so it lets you do them again and again and again. And I think that's kind of been shown up with these wins with BYU and USC, and then hopefully against Kentucky as well.
I mean, they've been so underrated like all season long. I mean, they beat a top 20 nationally ranked team back in September. I mean, not only beat, they swept them. University of Utah came into Mott, and it wasn't even close. I mean, they blew them out of the water. So this team all season long has kind of been flying a little bit under the radar in terms of like receiving votes nationally. But like to see them doing it on the big stage, like they're getting it done. I'm really excited for the match against Kentucky. I mean, they're so good at, as you said, like out of system. Like in system, they're really, really good, but then they're able to win because of how well they play out of system.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if you guys have seen any of the edits online of just Ayla Furriette absolutely eating some of those kills and just digging balls she has no right to dig. But it's really fun to watch the team. And I was lucky enough to actually call that Utah game on ESPN Plus and see how dominant we were. And that's a Utah team that took a set off of Nebraska. So it's not like Cal Poly is sweeping bad teams. We're sweeping really, really good teams and now going to 5 sets against 2 really great teams in the tournament. And I mean, hopefully they get a little bit of rest, and this is a good week off, because 10 sets in 2 days is that's a tough tough way to play.
Yeah, I saw on Instagram there was it was a highlight breakdown of the game against USC, and I can't remember the channel name, or the page name. But
I know what you're talking about.
He described us as little green cockroaches just because we wouldn't die, and I thought that was pretty funny, but it's also true. Like, there's no quit in this team.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
They just play so well out of system. Like their back line, like when London and Aliff and Ella Scott are digging balls that like they should not, like, I don't even know how they get to like half of these balls, but like they keep plays alive and allow their like offensive hitters to go to work. It's a fun team to watch, and they're very undersized. When you look at, like, they were going up against USC, who was, I mean, obviously heavy favorites, but for a reason. They were they were pretty sized up, and Cal Poly in general is an undersized team. So it was a really impressive win, and then to get it done in that kind of dramatic fashion, 5 sets. The 5th set they put it all together.
Yeah, and I mean, apart from, I know Annabelle Falcon's 6'4", Charlotte Kelly 6'4", and then Chloe Luge is 6'3", 6'2". Like Kendall Bashir, for example, an undersized hitter who just has an insane vertical. Emma Frederick, again, someone who can just get off the ground. And I think that's the most important thing. Like, you know, your height does matter, but at the same time, if you can jump 35, 40 inches and get a head above the net, which a lot of these girls can, it's still an amazing weapon to have. But that's not the only spot that Cal Poly has had success in this fall quarter. I mean, we've taken home Big West titles in women's soccer as well, and I want to make sure we get to that because, hey, Bernardo Silva's first season, ultimately a really, really great success.
Absolutely. I mean, to go from where they were at, which, again, I think we can all agree was sort of a anomaly of what that team should have been. Like, I think that was maybe like the worst possible outcome, and they were a much better team than what their record showed. But to go to winning the Big West championship, going on the road, taking a lead against Stanford in the NCAA tournament, I mean, just an incredible season by women's soccer this year.
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't get that. It doesn't get much better than a Big West title in your first year as head coach, and then scoring a goal against Stanford in the first minute. I mean, Jessie Halliday buries a header within 49 seconds. I mean, that is like, for Bernardo to come in and take over this program, he was at Bakersfield. They almost won a Big West title there, but then to come in and take over this program that had lost Alex Crozier, who'd been here for so long. I mean, Bernardo it's awesome what he's done here.
Yeah, and it was something that we kind of saw at the beginning of the year. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. They had those 7 draws in non-conference. They did go undefeated in non-conference play, but that was on the back of a lot of draws that, you know, could have been wins. And draws against good teams, which aren't necessarily a bad thing, but I think then they started to put it together, make some of those ties eventually become wins, and then, you know, go on a run in the Big West tournament, which it was great to see them actually realize that potential, and it was off of the back of, you know, great mentality by Bernardo Silva. We've had the opportunity to talk to him a few times on this podcast, luckily enough. Go check out those episodes if you haven't yet. But he came in and he had a vision. He talks about Cal Poly 2.0 and playing hard, playing gritty. And that is something that I think has really resonated with the team. And it shows in the results that they've gotten.
Yeah, definitely some of those draws were tough watches. But once they hit Big West play, they took off. They shot the moon and they went over it. They won the Big West tournament. Jessie Halliday, first team All West region after being, which honestly, second team All Big West. Somehow
it was a snub.
That was
a huge
unbelievable. Annika Smith made the third team All West region. I mean, those two up front. You can't win with 0, and they made sure that Cal Poly did not have 0 most of the games.
No, definitely. And Jessie scored, I think, a goal in each of their postseason matches, ending with 10 on the season. And the team that they lost to, I'd just like to point out, is currently in the NCAA finals. Stanford is on the brink of a championship, and so you can't be mad about being knocked out by a team who might win it all and putting up a goal against that really good team.
Well,
Stanford.
Yeah, and have you seen the way they've blown out some of those teams? Some of those teams, and it was only 3-1.
3-1. So, I mean, a very, very good season and a lot to be super proud about for women's soccer. And I want to bring it back 1 second to just some of the magic that they can produce. John and I were lucky enough to call a Seattle game early in the season during that run of draws, and we were down, I think, 3-1 here at home, and then 2 late goals, including one with literally 10 seconds left. To bring that back to a draw. This team, it's something special. I think there's a reason that I think there's been more hype around Cal Poly as a whole this quarter, because it's not just that the teams have been good. They've been exciting to watch, and I think that's been the best part for us, especially just covering these games.
I feel like Bernardo, when he came in, that's kind of like what he emphasizes. Like, I want this team to be fun to watch, and like you could tell, it is a fun team to watch. They attack just nonstop. The Santa Barbara match, the Big West title championship, was a relentless attack. Like, they did not stop shooting on goal. I genuinely don't know how it wasn't like 4-0. The goals that some of the Santa Barbara goalkeepers saved were incredible. Like, that goalie is fantastic, but that game, I mean, they had some fantastic shots that they put on, and they were completely relentless. And then Jesse finally buried that one in the 88th. I mean, like you said, this team is just it's fun to watch, and it starts from Bernardo. Like, he came in and he had a vision. He knew what he wanted this team to look like. He knew like what he wanted the personalities to be, and like he brought in a bunch of recruits, and it showed up on the field.
Yeah, and one of those recruits, Sam Walker, was such a big part of that Cal Poly back line. Like, it's incredible. She's the only freshman out of all 3 seniors.
In that back line, yeah, absolutely. I think because Eva Morales, I think, is transferred in as a junior. Yeah,
and like just you couldn't tell that she was a freshman after maybe there's a couple moments like in the first 2 games, but after that it was like she'd played there 80 games. It was incredible to watch, and just the energy around the team. You could tell like just how excited they were to show up to work every day and play. You don't get that all the time. You can look at some teams when they're on the field and you can tell like they're kind of going through the motions. It was never that way with women's soccer, I feel like.
No, absolutely not. They put it all out there every time. And when you talk to Jessie on this podcast earlier this year, that was something she really drove home, is she wants to play like it's her last game every single game. She wants to practice like she's giving 100% every single time, even if she's not feeling her best. And that's just something that I think really, really permeated throughout the entire team. And that's why they found success. And I think that's why a lot of teams at Cal Poly find success, because that's a concept that I think a lot of coaches here have developed. Like Ogie Kennedy with men's soccer, volleyball, I know they are just absolutely gritty and want to take it to the absolute limit. And I think it's more a Cal Poly culture than a singular team culture.
Yeah, Jessie, that I guess idea really impressed me, that she I don't know, kind of, that's something you hear at a lot of like pros, is what I mentioned to her, like the idea of like practicing and working hard when you're tired. And I mean, it showed up for Jessie. I'll tell you, I was waiting for one of her shots to go in, and when she finally got that one in the 88th, I mean, that was easily like one of my favorite. That was probably one of my favorite moments from Cal Poly. Just watching Cal Poly sports over the 4 years I've been here, that was amazing to see. And then just the emotions after, like to see them, I like see Bernardo down there, the whole team. That was awesome.
Yeah. If there's one like knocking how it seems that sometimes it took them a little bit too long to put the ball in the back of the net, as Matthew and I can attest to, but they always managed to seem to get it done at the end, even if it wasn't the most prettiest thing to happen, or if the goalie was standing on their head, they still managed somehow to get that winning goal in. And kind of basically what happened in the Big West Championship, as you mentioned, you're just waiting, and like it's going to happen at some point, and then when it finally does, it's just such a release of emotions.
Yeah, and to go from not having an NCAA tournament in a few years here, or at least in the sports that have gone this year, to having 2 teams in the same quarter go and compete on the national stage and go and play very well on the national stage. I mean, what do we think that says about Cal Poly athletics as a whole and the direction that we're headed?
Yeah, I think it's impressive. It's very impressive. I mean, women's soccer, it's their first NCAA tournament appearance in 21 years. It just speaks, I think, a lot to the work ethic of these student athletes and the work ethic of these coaches. And this athletic department is on the rise, especially in the Big West. There's room for growth, and they're very competitive across the board here. And I mean, yeah, it's very impressive what Cal Poly has done this quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I think every single team at Cal Poly can make noise in the Big West and no one would be shocked at it. I mean, both basketballs, wrestling, obviously it's not in the Big West, but still is a really solid program. Baseball could do it, softball, they can have some success here in the Big West. The one thing that frustrated me as a fan growing up was that it never really felt like anything came out of the 2014 year where they went in men's basketball and baseball. It kind of felt like it just tapered off. With baseball making it last year and now this success that's happening this quarter, I'm really excited for where Cal Poly athletics can go and how they can build on this success. Because as you mentioned, new athletic department or new athletic director, they really are on the come up. They really want to make a name for themselves, and the momentum is there. Like the momentum is sustained. So I think it can really only go up for Cal Poly from here.
I mean, I feel like when you have a head coach like Bernardo, football just hired a new head coach. We'll get into that a little bit later. That I'm really excited about, but like the coaching staff here is really it's really good. I mean, Bernardo was probably one of the best hires, and to come in and in his first year, you see that kind of it wasn't instant, but like overall it was. I mean, the first year and he captures a Big West title, and he gets them into the NCAA tournament. It was, just so impressive, and hats off to him and that whole team.
Yeah, and speaking of impressive and just transitioning a little bit to our cross-country teams, because they have been absolutely unreal for the past 9 years if we're talking overall. I mean, the men's team captured 8 out of their last 9 Big West titles, and then both teams have swept the last 4 on both women's and men's side. So that's the first time that's happened in Big West history, and I think this is a level of unprecedented success that we're seeing out of a lot of our cross-country guys.
Well, they brought in, that's another coaching duo, I should say, that's been fantastic. They brought in Ryan Van Ooy on the men's side and Michelle Chewins, who are actually married. They brought both of them in from Ole Miss a few years ago, and Van Ooy brought with him Davis Bove, who was on the national level. He was excellent. But that duo has been bringing in a lot of really, really standout recruits, and they've been building Cal Poly cross country and then also the track and field program, but that's in the springtime.
Apologies. Very, very unprofessional.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Better been an important phone call.
It was very important.
Bro,
you know what? I'll have to. Yeah. You know what? That's really what it was. No. But yeah, I think this team has been a breath of fresh air just in terms of consistent success. You've talked about how it hasn't been consistent for other teams and it tapered off after 2014, but cross country has been absolutely dialed in for the last decade, more or less.
It's to finish my thought, I guess. That's the kind of like coaching. You see the national success that they started a few years ago with Davis Bove and Ada McCarthy, and it's brought in a level of recruits, and now they're having sustained success over years. This is now their 4th straight sweep of the Big West. I think that's kind of what you want to implement and what you have the chance to implement with a lot of these other programs when volleyball, I mean, the attention that volleyball is drawing as a mid-major, upsetting BYU and USC, and now the women's soccer team as well, getting into the national tournament, that draws a lot of attention. And I think it really starts with your recruits is where you need to sustain success.
Yeah, and they've brought in a bunch of really solid freshmen. I mean, this is being recorded on December 8th. Literally Monday, December 8th. On Saturday, Tyler, I believe it's Dilac?
I believe so, yeah.
Dilac? Paso Robles native. He's going to make Team USA's U20 team for cross country. Like, at Cal Poly, like, he could have maybe gone anywhere, right? He chose Cal Poly. Like, that is, as you mentioned, that's just the sustained success you need from your recruits. Being able to bring in someone like that to Cal Poly is massive.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, Nikki Bridges as well. These last few meets, especially at Big West, the first woman to come across the line for women's cross country, and she's only a sophomore and is only really going to improve from here. So I think there's also a lot to look forward to, as well as them obviously having this great history throughout the last 4 years. It's going to only really compound on itself, and I don't see cross country going away anytime soon, especially with Vanoy and just the entire organization at the helm. It's great.
Yeah, Vanoy, I remember covering him. I remember talking to him my sophomore year when they won their second. It was their second Big West title in a row. And I mean, he said, like, I'm trying to build this program not only on a regional level, but like a national level as well. And there's no doubt about it. He's doing it with Kelly Gaffney on the women's side, racing at NCAAs. And it really got started with, cross country is a team sport, but they had Davis Bove going to nationals, which was really, really big for them. And Vanoy and Chewins are establishing a national powerhouse on California, which isn't really prominent for cross country. You see a lot of success out of like East Coast schools. But again, another excellent hire. Yeah.
I think especially at a mid-major level too. I mean, who else is really like a name in cross country on the West Coast other than like a USC or UCLA or
yeah, there's not a lot there.
There's some schools up north, I believe, Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon's the big one,
actually,
probably.
Oregon, yeah. You know what? I would like to apologize.
I do apologize, Oregon. You guys were really nice to us when we went up there for baseball. I did not mean to disparage your name in any way, shape, or form.
I got a good tour of their track and field facility when we were up there for wrestling as well.
We did.
That was ridiculous. I mean, little side tangent, but one of the best facilities in the U.S.
Track and field capital of the world?
I think so.
Tracktown USA?
Tracktown USA, yes, sir.
I drove by there a couple times and I was trying to figure out the lay of the Eugene campus. I'm like, this isn't the football stadium?
No, it
looks like it.
It could be for any other school. I mean, it's bigger than a lot of football stadiums around the country.
Yeah, that place is insane. And so much history. There was like a whole museum.
I know, there really was.
Yeah,
for no reason. And they're like walking through and they like have legit exhibits that you could like there's interactive exhibits and all that. They have this screen that you can go through every single track and field athlete that they've had in their entire history. It was ridiculous, but
yeah, I guess, I mean, we kind of got into, we touched on volleyball, we touched on women's soccer, we touched on cross country. There was a lot that happened this fall quarter. We had the chance to see a lot of it. I guess for me, one of my favorite moments was that Jesse Halliday goal to win Big West. But for you guys, like what was kind of one moment or a few moments that stick out to you?
One of my personal favorite moments was beating Sacramento State, because that means I got to go on a 30-minute phone call with my best friend and just dunk on him for the entire duration of the phone call. But yeah, I mean, the Jesse Halliday game-winning goal is definitely up there. I think volleyball beating BYU over compared to the USC one sticks in my mind just a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously both are great wins.
Yeah, but that first one was amazing. Just, hey, first win in NCAA, and now I think we're only one of 2 California teams left in the tournament after beating USC as well. So that was great. And for me, I'd say I was able to travel with the men's soccer team out to Bakersfield and got to see them win that regular season title for second year in a row, and that was really cool. Just being with the team when they found out, and also just to see how they go about their prep, go about their way of playing on and off the field, because they had so many injuries this year, and we'll get into that in an upcoming episode as well, where we break down some of men's soccer as well as some of the new hires for Cal Poly. But that was really awesome just to be with the team and be like, okay, this really means a lot to them, and also got a great win out at Bakersfield as well.
Yeah, regular season title. That was big. I would say another one of my favorite moments from the fall was the Sean McTague goal against UC Davis. That was pretty electric.
No, he has been a ridiculous goal scorer throughout the last few years, and he moved up off the bench this year with a lot of the injuries that came up for the team, and had really cemented himself as a premier offensive threat, not only for Cal Poly, but in the Big West as well. And the amount of precision that he has on his strikes is ridiculous, because he might only get 1 or 2 shots on goal, and that's just due to opportunity, but one of them is pretty likely to go in. And so it's great to watch him this season. And he had another one, I think, against Utah Tech, that Utah Tech, that was an 8-0 blowout, but so the quality of the goals were absolutely ridiculous, and he scored another beautiful one there. So yeah, he's been great all season.
That was the nationally televised game. That was on ESPN Plus, or ESPN-U. I'm sorry.
The U.
And then Stang's on the U, and then to see him bury that, that was it was a pretty close game. That was 1-1 in the 85th minute, and then he it was a strike. So as a fan, I was just in the stands, and that was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah. Do you guys find it hard to kind of transition back to being a fan sometimes? I mean, we spend so much time behind the mic, behind the pen and the camera.
Yeah.
But you kind of get to appreciate it on that fan level sometimes.
It feels weird. It's like it's relaxing kind of.
Yeah.
But it feels like I don't know, it's like, oh, I should be doing something. So then it's like when I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's real easy to be a fan of the sport you're not covering.
Mm-hmm.
When you're covering the sport, you're like, I need to be professional. I should not be doing all this stuff. And inside, you're like, yeah, let's go. Yeah.
100%. And also, it's like, you're never going to get as good of seats in the house as you are when you're covering a game, whether you're sideline doing photography or up in a press box. It was usually pretty solid views. And so it's definitely different to be in the stands.
Yeah. I agree. You are much closer to the action. Not necessarily if you're in the press box or if you're calling a game.
It's a much more comfy view up there, though. They have nicer seats in the press box.
It is, and it's cool. You can see the whole field. It's much different when you're eye level. You can't really see for soccer, I guess specifically, also football, but you can't really see the play developing as well. Especially on soccer, when they're running the pitch, you can really see the angles that are kind of clearing out, or what cross shots they're looking for. It's kind of cool watching it from up there.
No, definitely. I'm a big fan. But I mean, this entire fall, and we've been lucky enough to see a lot of great stuff from that view this fall. But I mean, there's a lot to be excited about looking forward as well, with a lot of new hires in football overall with Carter Henderson. And I think we're going to be getting into that in a future episode as well. It's been a great quarter in Cal Poly athletics, with a few regular season titles, a few Big West championships, and some really great performances in the NCAA tournaments. But there's also a lot to be excited about in the future as well.
Yeah, so much. Tim Skipper announces the new football coach for Cal Poly. He was Fresno State's interim coach for a time. He was UCLA's interim coach in 2025. A lot to be excited about. We'll be breaking it all down next episode.
And men's soccer won the Co-Big West regular season championship. They had a amazing season as well. And also just talking about the future of Cal Poly athletics, where it goes from here.
And the hiring of Carter Henderson, of course, we talked about it in a previous episode, but going to be diving in to his vision for Cal Poly Athletics next episode. So make sure you keep your eyes out for that one.